The second tremor hit, while Risa Tane was still inside the first building. She felt it before she heard it, a deep pull beneath her boots, like the ground was trying to decide something, and then the floor of the Orathi prayer hall lurched sideways by 30 centimeters, and the ceiling section above the eastern transept let go. Dust went white. The structural sensor clipped to her vest lit up red across 4 readings simultaneously. She had already grabbed the load-bearing column to her left with both hands before the noise caught up with the motion. "Ears team report," said Lieutenant Farhan Ose over the helmet channel from somewhere outside. "Tane inside column 4, east wing," Risa said. "Ceiling drop on my right, I'm clear." She gave herself 2 seconds to assess. The floor had resettled. The column was still solid under her hands. The dust was bad but breathable through her mask. "I've got a voice signal 30 meters ahead, female, weak. Aftershock didn't stop it." "Aftershock interval is down to 9 minutes, Ose said. "You want to pull back?" "No," Risa said and moved. She was 24 years old, 3 years into the Earth Aid Search and Rescue Corps, and she had been inside 7 collapsed structures across 2 deployments. The Orathi Great Hall of Sorethis had been standing for 400 years before the quake hit 47 minutes ago. The Orathi built for permanence, not for movement, and the fault slip that had buckled the Sorethis basin had given its foundations a lesson they were not engineered to absorb. The Compact Seismic Response Division had assessed the structure at 8:12 and flagged it non-entry. That assessment was now 43 minutes old. The voice signal was not. Risa moved through the transept debris field with her hands tracing the standing walls and her feet testing each surface before she committed weight. The prayer hall was built in sections. The Orathi organized their religious architecture around nested chambers, each one inside the next, so that the innermost sanctuary was the most protected and the most collapsed. She had gotten the acoustic trace off a resonance sensor 8 minutes ago, a woman's voice, in the subharmonic register the Orathi used when they were in pain and trying not to make sound. Not a cry. A kind of low, continuous hum that the translation matrix couldn't parse directly, but that Risa's sensor array had caught as a biological marker. 30 meters in the debris field, maybe 28 now. "Ose," she said, "I need a structural vector on the northeast quadrant roof. I'm seeing deformation in the arch above my 12 o'clock. Scanning." A pause. "Arch is stable. The secondary load is redirected to the west pillar. That one's compromised, but it's not going anywhere in the next 8 minutes." "That's all I need," she said. The Orathi were a religious caste species, dusky purple skin with a faint crystalline underlayer that scattered light, which meant in the glow of her helmet lamp they looked like dim stained glass. They had built Sorethis as a pilgrimage city. The Great Hall was not a transit hub or an industrial site. It was a place people came to stand still and contemplate. There had been 412 worshippers inside when the fault slipped. The Compact Seismic Division had recovered 67 from the outer courts and declared the interior non-respondable. Risa's team had arrived at 8:48 with 6 people and enough extraction equipment for 3 simultaneous collapse sites. The Compact Division supervisor had met them at the cordon. "We have made our assessment," he had said. He was a Kethani, lean, gray-skinned, formally uniformed. "The structural instability in the interior bays renders entry non-viable." "What's the aftershock interval?" Risa had asked. "Currently 11 minutes. It is decreasing." "Then we should move," she said and walked past the cordon. She had heard him say something behind her. She hadn't stopped. 22 meters now. The acoustic trace was stronger. She could hear it without amplification, a low sound between a breath and a chord. Her translation matrix offered the Orathi word unprompted, a vocalization made by a person conserving energy, converting distress into sound at a frequency requiring almost no muscular effort. They knew how to wait inside broken things. The debris thickened. A stone column had come down diagonally across the corridor, and Risa went under it on her belly, sensor array scraping the floor. On the other side, the space opened into the inner sanctuary, smaller than the outer hall, octagonal, with a domed ceiling that had partially held. 3 of the 8 wall sections had collapsed inward. 2 of them had fallen at angles, creating a void. There was someone in the void. Risa pointed her helmet lamp into the space and found her. A young Orathi woman, 16, maybe 17, based on the developmental markers in the brief, had been partially covered by a section of fallen wall panel. Not crushed. The panel had come down flat against the next wall and created a linta rather than pressing her down directly. Her left leg was pinned at the ankle. Her skin's crystalline layer was casting small, scattered reflections off Risa's lamp, and her eyes, vertically pupilled, dark gold, were open. The humming stopped when the light found her. "You came," she said. The translation matrix took a half-second. "We heard you were not coming. The responders outside said." She stopped. The words seemed to cost her something. "They said the building was not safe to enter." "It's not," Risa said, crouching beside her. She was already running her hands along the wall panel, reading the load path. "That's why I'm going quickly. What's your name?" "Sorethis." "Sorethis, my name is Risa. I'm going to look at your ankle. You tell me if your breathing changes, or if you feel anything shift in your back or your neck." "I have been still for a long time," Sorethis said. She was watching Risa with the focused attention of someone who had decided that watching carefully was the only thing she had left to do. "Are there others?" "My team is working the east wing. There are people in there too." Risa got her portable lift bar under the edge of the panel and checked the sensor. 62 kilograms of load bearing down on the ankle, but the ankle itself read intact on the bioscan. Compressed, not crushed. "I'm going to lift this. When it moves, pull your leg straight back. Slow, don't rotate." "I understand." "Ready?" "Yes." Risa lifted. The panel rose 4 centimeters, trembled, held. Sorethis pulled her leg back in a single smooth motion, and the ankle came clear. Risa ran a fast scanner pass, compression fracture, small, manageable. Not the ankle that would kill her. The dust, the dropping temperature, the next aftershock in. She checked her wrist, 6 minutes. Those were the killers. "Can you put weight on it?" Risa asked. "I don't know. We're going to find out." She got Soreth's arm over her shoulder and helped her upright. Sorethis tried one step and hissed, not the hum, something sharper, and Risa took more of her weight. "Okay, I've got you. We're going under that column, then through the transept, then outside. I'll tell you every step." "The others," Sorethis said. "There were others in the sanctuary with me. 4 others." When the ceiling fell. "My team is already in the east wing," Risa said. "They know. Right now you and I are going out." They moved. Risa kept her hand on the wall, her other arm around Sorethis, attention split between the debris underfoot, the sensors on her vest, and Osai's channel in her ear. Chen and Varro had found 2 Orathi in the choir gallery. Petty officer Bricks had a contact in the sub-hall corridor. The aftershock interval was now down to 5 minutes. "Tane," Osai said in her ear. "South wall of the east wing just flagged a load shift. I need your extract time." 3 minutes to the column, 2 more to the outer court, she said. 5 total. "That's tight." "Then everyone move faster," she said. She got Sorethis under the diagonal column. The young woman was small enough that she could ease through the gap standing, which was something, and out into the transept. The transept was worse than when Risa had come through. The ceiling drop had settled further, and a new crack had run across the floor that she had to step over carefully while keeping Sorethis balanced. The crystalline underlayer of Soreth's skin scattered Risa's lamp in moving fragments across the dark walls as they walked, small moving lights in all directions. And for a moment the ruined prayer hall looked like something else entirely. "Your Earth Aid Corps," Sorethis said. She was managing the walking, taking the weight off her fractured ankle with each step by leaning into Risa's shoulder. Her voice was low, careful. "Not the compact." "Earth Aid," Risa confirmed. "I did not know Earth Aid Corps did seismic response." "We do now," Risa said. A beat. They were 20 meters from the exterior door, which was still standing. Risa could see the gray morning light through the gap. 10 meters. The structural sensor pulsed once, pre-seismic micro-tremor. She recognized the signature. She had 2 minutes. "Faster," she said, and Sorethis understood without being told twice. They came through the door into gray morning air and dust, and the noise of the outer court, where the compact responders had set up a triage perimeter, and were now watching Risa's team work with the careful, silent attention of people reassessing something. Sorethis blinked in the light. She was still holding onto Risa's arm. Osai met them at the perimeter edge. "Chen's out with 2, Varro behind with 1 more. Brix is 30 seconds. "And the contact in the sub-hall?" Risa asked. Brix confirmed deceased before entry. The contact was the resonance echo off the rear wall. His voice was even. It was the fact of the day. "We have 4 out. Running total against the interior count, we're not done." "How many still in?" Acoustic sweep says 3 more viable signals, 2 in the northeast gallery, 1 in the central shaft. Northeast gallery is blocked by the load shift I flagged. The aftershock hit. It was smaller than the first, larger than the second. The ground moved with a low sideways shudder, and the great hall's remaining west facade let go with a sound like a slow exhalation, a section of wall peeling outward and falling in pieces. The exterior door they had come through was suddenly 2/3 blocked by rubble. Dust rolled out in a flat wave. Everyone in the outer court who was standing crouched. Sorethis made the low hum again, involuntarily, and then stopped when she realized she was doing it. The Compact Division supervisor was at Risa's shoulder a moment later. "This structure cannot be re-entered," he said. His voice was controlled, but there was something in it now that hadn't been there 40 minutes ago. I am declaring this site closed to further entry." "The remaining signals?" "The northeast gallery signals are in the choir loft," Risa said. "The choir loft has its own exterior access on the north face. We don't need to re-enter the main structure." She was already turning. "Osai north face exterior choir access now. Take Chen and Varro. I'll take the central shaft." "The central shaft access is interior only," Osai said. "The eastern service corridor is still standing," Risa said. She had the structural map on her wrist display. "It connects to the shaft from the back. It's exterior for the first 12 meters, then it goes under the foundation edge. That section hasn't flagged." The supervisor stepped in front of her. He was not a small person, but he was looking at her with something that was difficult to classify, not exactly anger, not exactly fear, something that sat between them. "You are Earth Aid Corps," he said. "You are technically outside your operational mandate for a seismic event of this category on a compact designated world. I can formally object to your continued entry." "You can," Risa said. She met his eyes. "There are 3 people still breathing in there. The service corridor is intact. I have a structural sensor and 6 years of extraction training and 1 aftershock of interval left before the next one arrives." She paused. "Formally object if you want. I'll be out before you finish filing." She went. The eastern service corridor was low and narrow and smelled like everything broken concrete dust, scorched polymer, the mineral scent of Orathi stone, sharper now with the foundations shattered. Her sensors lit the path. 12 meters of exposed exterior, then 8 meters under the foundation lip, then a junction with the central shaft access. The shaft had held, it was what everything else had fallen against. The person in the shaft was an older man, Orathi, trapped in the maintenance alcove at the shaft's base by a collapsed access ladder. Both legs pinned, both hands free. He had been shouting for a long time and had stopped conserving energy around the second aftershock. Injured more than he looked, or simply the kind of person who shouted when afraid. She got the ladder section up with the lift bar, got him clear, got him onto his feet. He was able to walk. She walked him out. Os extracted both choir loft survivors from the north face, 2 Orathi clerics, middle-aged, minor injuries, 3 minutes after Risa reached the shaft. They were all out before the fourth aftershock hit, and the fourth aftershock took the remainder of the central dome, which fell inward with a clean finality that sent a fresh wave of dust out across the outer court and left the great hall of Sorethis a ruin. 7 survivors. The team had gone in with nothing guaranteed and come out with 7. Risa was sitting on a fallen section of the outer wall, running a post-entry sensor check on her equipment, when the Compact Division supervisor approached her again. He stood for a moment without speaking. The outer court was full of medics now, and the low sounds of triage work and Orathi voices. She looked up. He had the bearing of a man who had made decisions in emergencies for a long time, and the expression of a man who had just watched someone else make different decisions and paid very close attention to what happened afterward. "Your team's designation," he said, "for my report." "Earth Aid Search and Rescue Corps, Rapid Response Division, Team 7, Risa said. "Lieutenant Farhan Osa commanding." He wrote it down. He looked at the ruined hall. He looked back at her. Then he said something in his own language, not Orathi, his own, a Kethani phrase she didn't have a translation for, and it was not bureaucratic language. It had the cadence of something a person said when they were speaking past the edge of their professional vocabulary. His matrix probably could have rendered it, but he hadn't addressed it to her matrix. He had said it to her directly, which meant it landed the way it was meant to land, as a thing said, not a thing transmitted. She didn't ask him to repeat it. She didn't need to. Risa picked up her sensor array and stood and went to find her team.